Saskatchewan to Preston Manning and to the great Stephen Harper, and now to Calgary's own Pierre Poilievre, this province has a legacy of being the bastion of free thinking and economic strength since Alberta joined Confederation. But what I want to talk about today is the last 10 years. Because for 10 years, we saw a prime minister that did everything he could to devastate the West and drive our investment and jobs out while implementing radical activist policies that ramped up disorder and chaos. And it got worse over time when we saw the formation of a federal left-wing activist coalition government in Ottawa, led by then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his friend, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, that were doing all they possibly could to choke off and ultimately destroy our province's energy and agriculture sectors. They also led an attack on provincial jurisdiction, energy, health, education, childcare, you name it, they wanted control over it. They placed a production cap on our nation's most valuable strategic asset, the Alberta oil sands, and along with it, an effective moratorium on the pipelines and oil tankers needed to take that oil to markets around the world. They put a Greenpeace activist, Stephen Guilbeault, thankfully no longer at the cabinet table, in charge of this assault on Canada's economy. And that is where the real damage to Canada was done by Justin Trudeau and his allies. They intruded on areas where the provinces have prime jurisdiction. They violated our Constitution and the very ties that bind Canada together in the name of top-down bureaucratic onslaught. Pierre Poilievre and our Conservatives believe in our Constitution, in leaving the provinces to be provinces, focusing on what the federal government needs to do. Things like bail reform and building projects and supporting jobs for Canadians. Like getting out of the way of investment and projects and building a new pipeline to the West Coast, a true nation-building project.
A little bit about separatism. Is it appropriate, do you think, for members of the Alberta Prosperity Group to meet with officials from the Trump administration and to discuss money?
Well, I would put it the other way. I mean, I think that it is up to the American administration to respect Canadian sovereignty and to respect that this is a decision that should be made in Alberta by Albertans, and that if they have any official discussions, it would be with those who have been elected to represent the people.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of undermines you, does it not?
Well, I guess... I don't feel so, because I have a really good relationship with the U.S. ambassador. I've got an envoy in Ottawa as well as in Washington who is working every single day to build those relationships. And so we're doing a lot of work on the ground every day, meeting with lots of people.
Did you talk to, I think you met with Ambassador Hoekstra last week. Did you say something to him about how you would like him to, the administration, to follow the proper channels when discussing this issue?
It didn't come up. Okay. But I did talk to my James Carpenter after I saw that it was in the news. I did talk to James Carpenter, who is my Ottawa representative, and and I asked him to raise it with the ambassador, as well as my envoy in Washington, to raise it with them in the U.S. Other
premiers had a lot to say about this. Premier Ford said you should denounce it, and you did not do that.
Well, there's a lot of hurt people here. I mean, when I look at the movement, I see as 30% or more of Albertans have given up on the country. That's distressing, and that is a sign, I think, of a loss of hope. And it's my job to restore hope. But I'm not going to.
Why can't you say?
I'm not going to demonize a million.
Not demonize them, but why can't you say this isn't the path
a million
forward?
Albertans? I just feel like it's my job to allow for a bit of a pressure release valve. If people feel this way, they need an avenue to be able to express it. So I'm going to watch and see how the petition plays out. We'll know by the end of May if they have enough signatures to go to a vote, and if so, then we'll schedule that probably for the fall.
That seems risky. That seems risky to me, particularly at a time when there are real threats to our sovereignty that are coming from the outside.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you have the same conversation in Quebec, where they're about to elect a Parti Québécois leader. I think it's far more risky.
I ask questions there too.
I think it's far more risky to have this question drag on for years. If this is an acute issue that we're facing because of the last 10 years of being treated so badly by Trudeau, If there is a new government, there's a sort of a recognition of whether or not he's moving in the right direction. I think he's doing many things in the right direction. I think he'll do a lot more with the help of a strong opposition leader. But that, to me, is a demonstration of why there's some urgency. We've got to address the issue of getting the MOU implemented and getting to it and demonstrating that we're going to develop our resources again. And we've got to address some of the big issues like the gun buyback, which is unpopular everywhere except for Quebec. And it's a constant source of irritation. The person who's leading the petition campaign is a gun shop owner.
Yep.
And he has a federal government that has made him a criminal for part of his inventory that he holds, made his customers criminals with just the stroke of a pen. And those are the kind of things that are unnecessary. When we have so much we can agree on, let's go after the bad guys. If we want to go after guns, let's get the ones that are legally coming across the border.
Yeah.
So I made that point to the Prime Minister as well, that it's not just one thing that is going to win Albertans' trust back. There's a whole series of things that the Trudeau Liberals did that went not only against our economy, but also against our values and way of life.
And I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Prime Minister does get that. I think that's part of what the MOU was about.
He's part Albertan. I think
Yeah, that's right.
For
So
6 years.
he's live to it. But do you not think that you're somehow enabling the conversation around separatism by allowing this to play out without you saying, I'm not saying demonize them, I'm just saying this isn't the way forward. I'm going to make things better for you as Premier. Hang tight.
Well, that's what I have said.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have said. I said I believe in a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada, a federal government that stays in its area's jurisdiction, that honors and respects our areas of jurisdiction, treats us with respect, allows us to develop our wealth so that we can all benefit. It fell on
You're
deaf
also
ears.
allowing the idea for a referendum to go forward, clearly because, I don't know what, you think that once they have a kick at the can, the story will be over?
Well, as you know, I inherited citizen initiative referenda, and there's a number of petitions that are going forward. There's a petition that has gone forward looking at the funding of independent schools. There's a petition going forward that's looking at the development of grassy mine coal down in southern Alberta. I do believe the citizen initiative is a mechanism for people to address things that we as a government would not put on the table. We as a government are not putting this on the table, but we're allowing citizens to demonstrate if they care enough about it. Get 177,000 signatures. We'll put it to a vote of their fellows.
Okay. Premier Smith, we'll leave it there. Thank you.
you.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.